Today we're going to talk everything about backflow prevention with you, and the first question I want to ask you is, why is backflow prevention important and what is it?
Well, thanks Tom, and thanks for inviting me to have this chat. It's really important, and anybody who's involved in plumbing anywhere in the world will understand slightly bits and pieces about backflow prevention and cross-connection control. But the main focus is that it protects the drinking water. In this country particularly, we have codes and standards that require backflow prevention and cross-connection control. And what that does is gives us guidelines and support in where these things go and how to install, etc. But what we also have is backflow prevention does protect the drinking water through stopping contaminants getting back. And if a contaminant gets back into the water supply, it can, worst case, could kill you. But it could just be a nuisance. It could be like orange juice or something like that. So that's an aesthetic thing, and backflow prevention devices are the valves and equipment that prevent that happening.
Yeah, it's very valuable. I don't think I can play too much of orange juice coming through my tap, but there's definitely worse chemicals and whatnot that could be mixed in there, and the varying different risks from different contaminants.
That's right. Well, there's experience and empirical evidence of beer and wine and soft drinks, all those sorts of things coming back into people's houses. But there is also sodium cyanide and nasty stuff as well.
Yeah. Is there much difference between the regulations in different countries around backflow prevention? I know you've got a lot of experience internationally.
Yes and no. It's how they're interpreted on the ground by the water authorities or water purveyors is how they actually differ. But it's identifying a level of hazard, whether it's a health hazard or whether it's a non-health hazard. In Australia we have 3 hazards. We have a medium one as well, so we just muddy the water a little bit there as well. But and then once you've identified the hazard of the cross connection or the pollutant that could get back into the water, it then comes down to identifying the valve. And it's the same whether it's in America or whether it's in New Zealand or whether it's UK. Once you identify what the hazard is, you can then identify the correct protection.
Yeah. So backflow being a bit of a subject matter expert area of plumbing, how do plumbers keep their knowledge up to date as more technology comes out and innovation comes through?
It's a really good question, because in Australia particularly you need to be a licensed plumber, and then you need to have gone ahead and done a extra skills development and to be a backflow tester. Whereas some parts of the world you just need to be a plumber, or you may not need to be a plumber at all. You just need to be a qualified person or a professional person. In Australia there is an apprenticeship and a course through the vocational training systems, and that allows them to then get a certificate of competency, and therefore they can go out and test backflow preventers. And it's something that it is a specialist thing. Of our 90-odd thousand plumbers in Australia, there's something only about 10,000 of those will have backflow licenses. So it's something that is still a specialist field.
Yeah, it's interesting because there are so many devices out there. From a regulator's perspective, how do they keep track of so many backflow prevention devices through every site within their jurisdiction? There's got to be an incredible amount.
Yeah, you're right. We believe the market in Australia is somewhere around up to about $30 million of new valves every year, and we now have. And this has been going since 1992, so it's just accumulating all the time. So we have some really big cities like Sydney, and everybody knows Sydney. Sydney Water look after something like around about 80,000 backflow preventers, and that's just containment. That's not even looking at anything that might be inside the properties. So that is a lot. And how they look after them? Well, in a lot of cases, it depends the size of the water authority. If it's a tiny water authority with 150 connections, that still might be pens and papers and filing cabinets. Somewhere like Sydney have an online portal that is really state of the art. Across the middle though, there is a number of software manufacturers that do this, like there is in the States. There's only one major one in this country, and that's a thing called Backflow ID, and it uses a QR code tag that goes on, and that builds the Water Authority's database and the plumbers' database for them as they go forward.
Oh, interesting. There's a QR code for everything these days, isn't it?
Oh, there is. From restaurants to anything, there's a QR code on stuff.
So you're also involved in legionella management. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, some years ago, the group formed in Australia called the Legionella Management Advisory Group, and LMAG for short. And they were a group of people, particularly subject matter experts, got together and saying, well, there's not enough information available to the public, to the plumbers and that, on Legionella. And so they developed this association. They had close ties with the Backflow Prevention Association because at that stage they had the same secretariat. And so it was a synergistic thing in learning where it went. And we got to the stage where they became a subgroup of the Backflow Prevention Association. We're both concerned with drinking water, and we're both concerned with the safety of the drinking water. So it's a sort of a natural fit off to the side.
So you mentioned education before. What education is there available for both the Legionella side of things and the management of that, but also from a backflow prevention perspective?
Well, Legionella, very little, and we're in a process of the LMAG, Legionella Management Advisory Group. We're in the process of developing some training courses in conjunction with the Water Management Society in UK, which do a lot of Legionella training now. So we should see that come forward this year, some specific Legionella training for practitioners. With the backflow prevention, again, we need continuing education based on skills updates and standards changes and all that sort of stuff. So a number of CPD things that we're developing and webinars and a whole lot of training.
So trying to, I guess, bring that information together, but then also disseminate it out to the audience and the practitioners. Yes,
that's exactly right. We're not a training association or an organisation, and we don't intend to be. So we work with people like the ICC, but we work with people like that to help develop these courses, and then they'll be badged and branded as co-branded as a Backflow Prevention Association, and they're made available to our members and to the general public.
So passing on that subject matter expertise within these groups out to the wider audiences and those 10,000 or so practitioners around Australia.
Well, that's what they say. They say knowledge is power, and knowledge. If once you have that knowledge and have that skill, you're in a much better place to make sure everything's right.
Yeah, because it is just such an important part of the plumbing profession, is keeping that drinking water safe. So I think it might encourage a lot more people to get involved in that particular sector of the industry as well.
Well, we hope so. And the biggest problem we have is, and I know this is same across the world, is that the younger people coming through, the younger plumbers and those things coming through, don't yet see the importance of getting involved in associations like Legionella Management Group or the Backflow Association. It's only when people get to a certain age where they see the value in doing other stuff rather than working 9 to 5 or 7 to 7 and try and just keep bread on the table. So it's always hard to get members and interested people to be part of it. So we need to provide that education options and the training options and newsletters and a whole lot of communication. That's why we have LinkedIn pages, that's why we have Facebook pages, because we need to be communicating to the people constantly.
Yeah, it's it's important to be involved in these kind of groups early to gain that knowledge throughout your career, not just wait till you're approaching retirement and at the stage where you want to give back through those forums. It's important to be engaged as a member and keep your knowledge up to date while you're in the trenches and doing that work.
Very much so, but also that creates a positive work position for you, because once you become that skilled professional and considered that your business can then grow exponentially in the backflow area. A lot of plumbers say, I'm getting too old to dig trenches and things like that, so I'm going to go test some valves and make my money that way. But I've seen some younger plumbers that say, okay, I'm just going to focus on backflow, and now they've got 4,000 valves on their books and that they're servicing, and they're having a really good life and earning lots of money. So backflow is really that opportunity.
Yeah, it's kind of a niche market if someone chooses to build in that particular area.
It is, and then they became knowledgeable in all the brands. They know how to fix them, and so then they become that font of knowledge that people will go to and say, I've got this XYZ model, how do I fix it? And he'll say, well, I've seen 2 of those before, or 10,000 of those before, and you do this.
Yeah, it's kind of really frontline working, post-COVID terminology, but it's really is protecting the community from any sort of hazards in the drinking water that we take for granted at the moment.
And that's exactly right, because if those guys, if those people are trained and really cognizant of the issues and the dangers, they can then portray that and give that information to their customers, and be the font of knowledge for their customers too.
Yeah, that's true. Last question, with a global audience watching today, how would someone from outside of Australia get engaged with the PPAA or the Legionella Management Group?
Yeah, nice. We like to have people. We like people. We like talking to people. So we have LinkedIn pages, both the Backflow Prevention Association and the Legionella Management Advisory Group. Both have LinkedIn pages. We have Facebook pages. We have websites at bpaa.org.au or lmag.org.au, and so reach out to us, communicate with us, and become members if you like, because we have international members. We have members now in UK, we have members in USA, we have members in New Zealand. So we're not only Australian focused, we're globally focused as well.
A good opportunity to engage and share information across jurisdictions as well.
Very much so, and that's one part of the reason I sit on the American Backflow Prevention Association board, because the whole thing is information sharing and development of the industry as a whole.
Well, it's a lot of information to cover in a short period of time, so again, thank you for joining us, Peter, and thanks for sharing your knowledge through this today's webinar. So
sure, thanks Tom, I really appreciate it, and I really like to be able to talk about Backflow, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem, anytime.